everybody, I'm April. I'm a voice coach here in the Burbank area, and I'm also a singer as well. But I train a lot of singers in the neighborhood, in the entertainment business and such. And a good portion of the clientele that I have are the show choir kids. So this town, Burbank, is known for its elaborate show choir programs, both middle school and high school. One particular high school that is probably the most intensive in terms of like audition process is John Burroughs High School Show Choir Program, directed by Mr. Brendan Jennings. So he and I have worked together for a long time over these past few years, and in terms of working with kids and getting them ready for their solos and audition process, that type of thing. So it's fairly intensive. There's a lot to it. So I do a workshop now every year to help them get ready for the next audition. But I also get a lot of questions. What are the requirements? And people want to know in detail, like what exactly is it that's required, and there are quite a few things. So I approached Mr. Jennings and said, let's get on camera and talk about it and just let's tell the world. So this is an interview with Mr. Brendan Jennings, the director of the John Burroughs High School Show Choir Program. He will describe all from top to bottom what you need to know. If you have any further questions after this interview, you're welcome to visit my website at LetTheVoiceOut.com. And we will make sure you get your questions answered. So enjoy the video.
So what I wanted to do today is, I get a lot of questions about how you do your auditions. We're going to tell you guys just what it's like to do auditions here at John Burroughs High School and how to get into show choir and how the whole process works. So what's the process?
So the process for auditions at John Burroughs High School is we start with an online application, which is available about like just the week of the audition. And you fill out all of your information and it takes you through an application process. You finish it online and then you print out an application that your parents have to sign.
Okay.
And then you bring that to our workshops. Now the workshops are the time when we're teaching the dance combination, but also doing preparations for the vocal audition. So I have my seniors and various people here to do a little vocal coaching if you need it, listen to your song, give you some feedback, talk to you about how you're gonna slate, because we have everybody say the same things when they come in. And then also work with you on the required song. Okay. So for the vocal audition, we have one required song and then one free choice song. Okay. So you start by singing America, in parentheses, My Country 'Tis of Thee, because there are a lot of songs called America.
Yes.
And you just do one verse of that. And you can choose any key, and it can be an opportunity to provide contrast to your free choice song if you are trying to show us range that your song doesn't show. But you should probably pick a comfortable key for yourself. Okay. And that just helps us, because if we don't know your song, or you have a mistake in your song, or you're going for something really hard and it doesn't quite work out, My Country 'Tis of Thee is like a nice baseline that you can sing with really good tone quality. It shows us, you know, it's not as much of a soloistic song, but it shows us pitch and projection and diction and like all of the things that we're looking for. And then a free choice song, which can be of any style, and you should do maybe about a minute of a cut, a verse and a chorus, or your favorite parts of the song. That's kind of always a question, is what part of the song do I do? The good parts is the answer, whatever part you love to sing, but not too long. You know, maybe about a minute. And so then that week we're prepping for that, and you're signing up for audition times. And then you also do an oral skills test, which is tonal memory, matching pitches, singing the middle notes of chords, learning a little harmony line and harmonizing against the piano, and then sight singing to music. And that all happens during the week of auditions, which is usually about the last week of April. And then you sign up for audition times, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you do your dance audition, you do your vocal audition, and then we put all of that information together, and voila, we have choirs for next year.
You guys go to great lengths.
We do. Well, we have a lot of people, and we want to make it as fair as possible.
Sure.
So we want to give the people who are you know, great solo singers a chance to shine, but also the people who are great choral singers a chance to shine, and people who are great musicians a chance to shine, and people who are great dancers and great performers a chance to shine.
Yes.
And whatever your strengths are, you should play on them for the audition. Maybe you're just a great performer. You can choose an acting piece that shows us what a great actor you are, even if you're still working on your voice. We obviously are looking for the raw vocal talent as well, but we want people to be able to connect. You know, we have a lot of good singers, and in order to kind of separate them, we're looking for any little thing. You know, we are looking for that projection. So, you know, you do want a loud part of your song. You don't want to sing a song that's all super soft, but you probably don't want to sing a song that's just all super loud.
Sure,
you want to like give us a little contrast and make sure that your words are really understandable.
Yes, that's a very good point. That
you're connected to it. I mean, if you're singing a song about like how happy you are and you're like, I'm so happy, but you look super mad, we're like, okay, they're not thinking.
Yeah.
You know, we want singers who think. In terms of preparation, the ideal preparation is happening starting the day after your last audition. You know, it's a year-long preparation.
Wow.
Because you should be constantly working to improve. And so I would not learn one song as a solo audition song. I would have 3 or 4 or 6 solo pieces in my current rotation that you are learning and that you are working on, because as your voice develops, you might change which is your best song right now.
Exactly.
Or even in the week or two before, you know, if you aren't completely and totally healthy, then maybe you do have to switch your song. But if you're prepared for multiple songs, then you have options. People often ask me, are there songs that you hate? And we will evaluate anything that you give us. Okay. There are songs that are not my favorite songs. On My Own is a great example. I say Friends Don't Let Friends Sing On My Own from Les Miserables. But
or Think of Me.
But somebody, that's the perfect song for them. And if you come in and it is the perfect song for you, we will evaluate you as such. We're not cutting off anybody because I don't like the song that they chose. Sometimes people choose really repetitive songs and it doesn't show a lot in their voice, and that can be an issue. But at the same time, if you're a new singer and you're struggling with something, getting that repetitive song perfectly might be a better choice than trying something more difficult that you can't quite get.
Right.
And in terms of the levels of choirs and moving up and that whole situation, you don't have complete control over that situation. It's partially a numbers game. It's very competitive between people, but you know, how many people are seniors? How many people have left? You know, what number of spots there are in the choir, and if you're a soprano or an alto or a tenor or a bass, and you don't have complete control over where you get placed and what's available. And sometimes there's a lot of people that are qualified to be in Powerhouse, or a lot of people that are qualified to be in Sound Sensations, and that doesn't mean that I have room for everybody who could be in that choir. Frankly, before you walked into the audition and after you walked out of the audition, and then when the list went up, and before and after the list went up, you are no better or worse than you were the day before, unless you practiced a bunch. Right? It has nothing to do with how good you are, your self-worth. It's just the audition that happened that day, and it's the placement that we saw fit to make at that time. And yes, it's dramatic, and people are like, it's a whole year, but every choir at the school is awesome, and you're going to learn from every experience. So I really encourage people to not put so much weight on, where they get placed. Although I understand everybody's trying
to get higher
move
in
up
choir
and
yeah.
to make the top group.
Choir.
And every day is an audition.
And every day is an audition.
You know,
that should be a t-shirt.
If you are sucking the life out of the room 364 days a year, and then you show up and have one great audition, you're not going into the top group. I don't need the one person who's awesome, but who's horrible to work with. It's not the entire decision-making factor. You know, a lot of people are like, but she is like said this one time, or he was like a tardy a bunch of times. How did he move up? It's a balance between what's appropriate educationally for that person and what, you know, I'm working with them one-on-one to strive for, and what you're putting out into the world. You know, and I'm human too. And I have a panel of judges, but we're all just people making the best decisions that we can. Sure. And that's, you know, it's heartbreaking sometimes when people don't get what they want, but a lot of times if they stick with it, they end up having an incredible learning experience because of it.
Right.
Because of the obstacle, because of the failure, it sets you up to succeed in the future. Everybody has to be a beginner at some point. You don't have to be an experienced professional level singer to make it into choir at Burroughs High School. And I feel like at most schools. My job security is the fact that I'm teaching people how to sing, like yours.
Right.
People need to learn. There are far more people who don't get a spot in choir because of their grades or because of behavior issues than for vocal issues. Oh. There are extremely rare cases of people who just really don't have an ear for singing, and that can be an issue because educationally it's not going to work with in an ensemble kind of thing. Those people, if they really want to be singers, they need to study privately one-on-one because before they're able to be in an ensemble. But that is so rare.
Right.
If you think it's you, it's not you. Like everybody thinks that they're the one that's so terrible. But if you have a desire to sing, you should sing. In every class I have, 50 students. And so I do my best to know my students' capabilities, but if you're changing and growing, I might not get to see that on a daily basis because my choirs are large and it's super intensive and we're doing a lot of shows. It's not as much of like a one-on-one situation. So when it comes to audition, I really need to see where you've grown, like what you've been working on and how that's benefited you. And I get surprised in auditions a lot with like, I didn't know that she could do that. I didn't know that was in her voice, and she's been singing soprano, but she just did this beautiful alto thing, and like maybe I should place her differently. And that's the most exciting part of it, is just hearing some sounds that I haven't heard before. Also, can I just say that if I give you, like, please don't read too much into my looks, because you could be the 177th person, and I'm like downing sugar to just like keep myself completely alert, and I might be yawning or something during your performance, or I might be stretching, or one of the other judges is like standing up. Like, part of it is just keeping ourselves completely focused on you and listening to you and paying attention. So some people say like, oh, I thought his face looked, he looked really happy during me. Well, maybe we just had lunch. You don't know. Or I thought he looked really unsatisfied with my audition. Well, maybe, like maybe I ran out of Pepsi and
or coffee.
You know what I mean?
Whatever.
Like, I need more caffeine. Yeah. But that has nothing to do with necessarily how we're scoring you. We kind of try to make it so they can't see us too well, because we're like a little bit further away. But for some, especially some of the middle school kids, those auditions are a little bit closer.
Yes.
And people like to read in a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I did awful. They're crying in the hallway. And I'm like,
I hear about that, crying in the hallway.
Should I lower I gave them a really high score. Should I lower it? Was there something bad I didn't hear? We score on a rubric. So we try to keep our scores in line from one to the other and try to make sure that things, you know, aren't affected. But even after that moment, we still go back and look at all of the information, look at the whole year as a model. Like, it's not just that one moment that decides it for you.
Right.
If you have worked your butt off every day of the year and have been an upstanding member of the ensemble, and you have a really bad day in the audition, you're the one that's going to get the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? If it was really, really a problem, then you'll get a call back. I will call somebody back in and say, you know what, you were really not consistent with what I know of you. And I'm going to like listen to you again. I'm not going to do that for somebody who's, you know, doesn't work hard every day. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt if you earn and you know, if you deserve the benefit of the doubt.
Show that you want it, go to work on it.
And that
give
can
your
be a
best
challenge
effort.
for first-time auditioners as well. Yes. I don't know the 8th graders. I don't know people who are new coming in. So I'm not going to be, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt the first time around. You may have to take some time to prove yourself actually working with me. So in that sense, my current students do have a little bit of an advantage. But you can also walk in and blow it out of the water. And I'm like, holy moly.
And that's the goal. Knock it out of the park. Let the voice out, people.
I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that as well. Be courageous. Put it all out there. And then once it's over, understand that now you're just moving on to the next audition situation. Every single time you audition in your life, you will learn something. And that will make you better at auditioning in the future. So if it's your first audition, you're at the beginning of that yellow brick road. And if it's your 100th audition, you're 100 auditions down that road, but you still have more to learn, and you will get more comfortable and more confident the more you do it. The more you put yourself in a fairly uncomfortable, nerve-wracking situation, the better you become at handling those situations.
Right.
So if you have a passion for singing, if you want to sing, if you want to learn to sing, even if you feel like you don't know how, don't let an audition be the reason why you don't try to sign up for this class. I mean, having a class in school every day where you sing every day, nothing could be better than that. That's just it's the best repetition that you could possibly get. So one moment where you may or may not do a great job, you might walk in there and it might be kind of a disaster, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to make it, and that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. Do something that scares you every day, but especially do that audition and let the voice out.